Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, kicking off the late pick 4 at Keeneland on Saturday with the Grade 1 Madison. Our coverage is presented by DRF Bets. Please sign up. Please access a $150 bonus on us. DRF.com/join is where you need to go to sign up for DRF Bets. Please use the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field of fillies and mares getting set to go 7 furlongs. We could have a lot of wet weather at Keeneland on Saturday, Matt.
Yeah, and we'll find out how that kind of affects this race, because a number of the shorter priced horses, or the favorites anyway, some of them are proven on it, but some of them have never set foot on a wet racetrack in the past. So we'll find out how that could transpire.
We haven't seen the number 10, Amies Mesa, since finishing second in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint at a big price. You could make the argument that she really took advantage of an extremely fast pace in her dirt debut, but she ran well. Unique Bella finished 7th. Sky Diamonds finished 4th. She outkicked a couple of good ones. It was a nice effort. What do we get off the bench?
Well, we'll find out. She's fired fresh in the past. I think that's a positive thing. She was also on the best part of the racetrack out at Del Mar and Breeders' Cup Saturday, so that's something to factor in. But if you think that she can run the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint again in a race like this, then you have to consider her a contender.
She's coming off a little bit of a layoff, but not as long of a layoff as the 11, American Gal, who won the signature race for 3-year-old filly sprinters last year, the Grade 1 test, and I just love the way she won that race. She just pressed 3 other horses while widest on the track, and then she poured it on to win by 4 lengths over 3 next out winners, including one that came back to win the Prioress with a 99 Buyers speed figure. American Gal comes back in a Grade 1. I guess that's a good sign, unless you think Simon Callahan is using this as a prep for the Humana Distaff.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something to consider and keep in the back of your mind. I guess for me, I'm looking at this very reminiscent to a number of years ago at this point when Bob Baffert had Midnight Lucky, where I just think from a talent standpoint, she's just superior to everybody in this field. She's won off of a very long layoff in the past. She did it last year in the Victory Ride. That was her first start as a 3-year-old when we hadn't seen her since the Starlet at 2. I just kind of feel like if she comes back anything close to what she was when we last saw her, I think she's just more talented than the rest of these girls. 4
for 4 sprinting in her career, arguably best in her 2 two-turn races. The Juvenile Fillies of 2016, the Starlet of 2016, compromised by extremely wide trips in both of those efforts. We also have a positive Simon Callahan formulator fact. Past 4 years, older last out winners on dirt, 30%, a $2.12 ROI. It's not going to be easy for American Gal, though, because there are some salty distaff sprinters in here, including Finley's Lucky Charm, who won the Grade 2 Thoroughbred Club of America at Keeneland last fall. What did you make of the seasonal debut on turf?
Yeah, a little bit of an odd situation because she had never started on turf in her 13 prior lifetime starts, but I do kind of feel like, and I know it's been a little bit of time between that race and now, but it just kind of feels like, to me anyway, was that nothing more than let's get a race into her because we don't want to come completely stone cold into a race like this. You know she can run at Keeneland. Heck, she showed in the TCA that she can sit off the pace, which is a new dynamic, and that's major, major news for her because if you thought that she absolutely needed a lead, fear is allayed now. You know that she can sit a little bit, breaking toward the outside. I understand why she makes sense. I still don't love her at this distance. I like her going a little bit shorter.
Let's see what the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector has in store for this year's Madison. We are expecting a fast pace up front, set by the number 4, Miss Locust Point, and all she has done is win her last 4 races, and a messy racetrack wouldn't matter at all, because last time out she won the Grade 2 Barbara Fritchie through the worst possible snowstorm imaginable. She's very fast out of the gate.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's going to be a blizzard on Saturday. She's getting used to that at this point because that's what she had to deal with at Laurel most recently. I agree with you. She's very fast. The big concern or the big knock, if you have one, is from a speed figure standpoint, she's not fast enough to win this race yet. She needs to improve. She needs to take a step forward. I don't know that that's entirely unreasonable to think that that's going to happen, but at the same time, 8 lifetime starts, you kind of have been getting the same thing, even going all the way back to late in her 2-year-old years. She's been earning these mid-high 80s. She's going to need to up her game if she's going to win.
And trainer John Service just keeps rolling along. The Keeneland graduate, Miss Locust Point, 12-1 on the morning line. Well, she's got a positive formulator fact in her corner, and we'll get to that in just a second. Over the past 5 years, with last out winning older dirt sprinters making the first start off a layoff of 45 days or greater, it's 41% winners and a $3.05 return on investment. So Service certainly knows where to place these horses off a little bit of a break. Miss Locust Point standpoint, might be out in front. Lewis Bay, we know her. She is a real hard hitter. She's only been off the board once in her life, and that was when she was fourth in the test back in 2016. I don't know about you. She's run fast races since she's come back. I just haven't exactly been thrilled with what we've seen from Lewis Bay, including getting beat last time out in the Royal Delta. I know Martini Glass is in good form. She came back to win the Azeri with a 94 Beyer.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been the biggest Lewis Bay fan, but there is a part of me that looks at it and says it's getting difficult for me to continue to make excuses or reasons why she's not going to run well. She just usually shows up with that lower mid-90, and you brought up Martini Glass, that 94 Beyer in the next start. So I thought she ran a winning race in the Royal Delta. She just got beat by a better horse that day. If you think she runs that 94, I mean, in theory, a 94 is probably going to be pretty darn close to what it takes to win this race.
And she's got Chad Brown in her corner. Let's cue the formulator fact for Lewis Bay. Past 4 years, older dirt runners cutting back from routes to sprints. That's been a Chad specialty for a long time. First off a layoff of 45 days or greater, 32% winners, a positive ROI. Kind of odd to see her do everything backwards from a lead change standpoint when she won the Rampart 2 starts back. She was up close on a day where I thought you needed to be close at Gulfstream last time out, but you're right, she's certainly fast and classy enough to win a race like this. Let's talk about Salty, the number 3, a filly that really did some good things last year. Second in the Acorn, third in the CCA Oaks, third in the Alabama, and last time out off of a long layoff, she overcame a slow pace to win. Tough to get a big fig off of a slow pace. I think she's got that 98 in her that she ran in the Acorn. If she runs that, she wins, but she could certainly come with a run off of a fast pace.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I thought that most recent run, the non-winners of 2, other than a little bit more workmanlike, but you brought it up. It's because of that slow pace in front of her. Needed to kind of use her a little bit earlier than maybe ideal. If she gets a serious pace second off the layoff, I think she has a big chance in here.
Sailor's Valentine is going to try to utilize a similar second off the layoff angle that parlayed her into a giant win in the Grade 1 Ashland at Keeneland last year at 22-1. She made her return off an extremely long layoff at Gulfstream. She was wired in a race where there was no pace. She ran on at the end. I think she can improve a little bit. I just wonder if she's going to be better around 2 turns.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other thing, too, that I have a problem with her is just from a speed figure standpoint. She is not nearly fast enough. She's never cracked 80, let alone 90. And I think it's going to take a lower mid-90 to win.
Tequilita is a 7-furlong specialist, 3 for 5 at this distance, 1 for 6 everywhere else. She actually won around 2 turns in the Charlestown Oaks. Last time out in the Raven Run, it was kind of an oddly run race where the pace actually held together, even though our friends at Timeform US had it color-coded red. Tequilita just needs an honest pace, but after 11 starts, her best Beyer is still an 85. She's got to run faster.
Yeah, similar to what I just said with Sailor's Valentine, you're going to need to really step up if you're going to get the job done. Also worth noting, Michael Matt's past 3 years dirt, 61 to 180 day layoff, 1 for 32 with a 96-cent ROI.
Burned would really take advantage of a fast and contentious pace, as she did 2 starts back in winning the Safely Kept at Laurel at this distance. Last time out in the Barbara Fritchie, conditions probably against her. Miss Locust Point getting out to an easy lead, probably against her.
Yeah, and Burned was really the only one that made up any sort of real ground in that race. She was widest of all, coming from the back of the pack. Another one that would appreciate a big pace.
Teresa Z won the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks 2 starts back. Maybe not the strongest graded race that they ran in 2017. She then was simply overmatched in the Cotillion against Abel Tasman, who returned to Beyer 99 when second in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Is this just a starting off point?
Probably for something longer, but I have to be honest with you, I don't think she's as bad as maybe it would look on paper. I think there's some ability in this horse. She's been gone for a long time. Maybe this is nothing more than getting her ready for something longer, but I think Teresa Z is actually okay.
Second back for Minds and Magic, 30-1 on the morning line for the number 13, and even third in her first start back, the Grade 2 Inside Information. Not a lot of pace up front, but closers did well.
Yeah, closers did do well, and I think it's one of those things. This is a horse that usually does her best running from a little bit farther off than she was in that most recent run. I don't know that I want to hold that one against her, but at the same time, she's one that I've always felt is best used underneath.
Second off a long layoff for the 9, Natural Wonder, 50-1 on the morning line. This horse is stakes placed on dirt, a stakes winner on synth. Do you think she's better on alternative surfaces like synth and turf?
That's kind of the way it looks right now anyway. You go to that run 2 starts back to the 91 Beyer. That would at least give her a chance in here, but based on her dirt form is just not good enough.
Let's take a look at our top picks to kick off the pick 4 at Keeneland on Saturday. Miss Sunset's last race. If you believe the 97 Beyer speed figure on a wet track's going to make her very, very tough, and it looked like she didn't take a deep breath. Now, I know she was in against way inferior competition. It was just such an impressive win, and she was game to win the Raven Run at 7 furlongs at Keeneland last year. So now we know she handles Keeneland. We know she handles 7. We know she handles a wet situation. She might be up close to this fast pace, but Miss Sunset's got the recency over some of the classier horses in this race. She's 9-2 on the line. I like her in this spot.
Yeah, I think all the reasons that you laid out make perfect sense. I like the fact also that in that Raven Run, she switched off a little bit. She was about a half length off, and she pressed the pace as opposed to what she's accustomed to doing, which is going out there and setting the fractions. If you believe that one of the horses to the inside is just going to go because they have no choice, she can sit just off and still be as effective. I agree. I think she has a big chance in here as well.
And that's the point where I'm hoping for, that she can sit off Miss Locust Point and maybe turn into the stretch with the lead. American Gal won't be far behind. You think Simon Callahan has her ready off the bench? She's your top pick.
Yeah, it's just one of those instances. You bring up a big point because they've talked about the Humana Distaff being the goal, so maybe this is just to get her ready for a race like that. But at the same time, she reminds me of Midnight Lucky. I was a huge fan of the Midnight Luckies. I just felt like talent-wise, she was superior to whoever she was facing. She ran against Judy the Beauty in the Humana Distaff way back when. This race here, American Gal, I think if she takes a step forward, she's certainly going to win. But if she comes back as good as she was in the test, I like her.
She's the one to beat in my opinion. She's my second pick. I go 8, 11, 10, and 2. Matt's going with the 11, American Gal, to kick off the Saturday late pick 4 at Keeneland. Again, if you're playing that pick 4, please do so with DRF Bets. A $150 bonus is yours when you sign up for a new account at drf.com/join. The promo code is TV150. Approximate post time for the Madison, 5:10 Eastern on Saturday afternoon. Good luck.